Welcome back to the channel, Cowboys fans. Today we're diving into some breaking news that has stirred up quite a bit of discussion in the Dallas Cowboys community. The spotlight is on wide receiver KaVontae Turpin, who recently found himself in hot water with the law. This is a situation that's creating a lot of buzz, not just because of the legal side, but also due to the possible impact on his playing status with the team. So, what exactly happened? Turpin was arrested on charges involving possession of marijuana and unlawful carrying of a weapon. These are serious accusations that have naturally raised questions about what could happen next, especially whether he might face a suspension from the NFL. As fans, we want to understand both the facts and the implications for the team. This situation has sparked a heated reaction across the Cowboys fan base and even within the locker room. One term that's popping up a lot is snitch. It's important to clarify this. Being called a snitch usually implies someone is betraying trust by informing on others. But that's very different from simply cooperating with law enforcement or being a responsible citizen. We need to separate fact from rumor here and avoid jumping to conclusions about Turpin's character based on incomplete information. Looking at the bigger picture, this arrest puts Turpin and the Cowboys under a microscope. What does it mean for his future with the franchise? Will this off-field issue overshadow his on-field potential? Those are questions the team, the league, and of course us fans are trying to answer. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think KaVontae Turpin will really face a suspension? How should the Cowboys handle this situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this is a discussion worth having. All right, with that introduction set, we'll next break down the details of the case and the local laws that come into play here. Stay tuned. Let's dive deeper into the specifics of the charges against KaVontae Turpin and how Texas law plays a big role in this case. Understanding the local legal context is crucial because laws about marijuana possession and firearm carrying can vary widely from state to state. First up, Turpin was reportedly caught with less than 2 ounces of marijuana. In Texas, that amount is classified as a misdemeanor, which is a lower-level offense compared to felony charges. However, even misdemeanors can carry fines, probation, or other penalties depending on the circumstances. The second charge is more serious: unlawful carrying of a weapon. Texas does allow residents to carry firearms openly or concealed without a license, but this privilege has limits, especially if the person has prior criminal records. If Turpin has any past convictions or is otherwise disqualified, carrying a gun could quickly turn into a criminal offense. Another important factor here is the location. Turpin was stopped in Allen, Texas, a city known for, enforcing traffic and drug laws more strictly than some nearby areas. For example, Arlington, which is relatively close, has a different police approach when it comes to minor drug possession. So the same behavior could lead to different consequences depending on where it happens. Now, on top of the possession and weapon charges, there's also the matter of his driving behavior. Turpin was reportedly driving at 97 miles per hour at 5 in the morning, which raises concerns about reckless driving or speeding violations. This speed is well above the legal limit and could have been a key reason for the police to pull him over in the first place. It's also notable that despite these infractions, there's no report of other serious offenses like driving under the influence, DUI. This might work in Turpin's favor when the case is evaluated. Putting it all together, while possession of a small amount of marijuana might be considered minor, the combination with illegal firearm possession and high-speed driving complicates things. The location and his personal legal history will heavily influence how this case plays out. Next, we'll explore how the NFL typically responds to situations like this and what Turpin might realistically face in terms of league discipline. Now that we understand the legal details, it's time to ask the big question. Will KaVontae Turpin face a suspension from the NFL? To answer that, we need to look at how the league has handled similar cases in the past. The NFL's approach to marijuana has evolved a lot in recent years. Players like Sam Williams, Ezekiel Elliott, and Justin Tucker have all had incidents involving marijuana or related issues, but suspensions for these offenses have become less common. The league no longer conducts routine marijuana testing and has relaxed many of its policies, especially when compared to a few years ago. That said, suspensions can still happen, but usually for conduct that harms the league's image more directly or involves repeated violations. For example, cases involving domestic violence, serious legal troubles, or actions that bring bad publicity are treated more harshly. Turpin's situation, possession of a small amount of marijuana and firearm possession, while serious, is less likely to lead to a suspension, especially if no violent or dangerous conduct is involved. There are always exceptions and inconsistencies, of course. Some players have received harsher punishments than others, which raises questions about fairness in the NFL's disciplinary system. But based on what we know now, it seems more likely that Turpin might face a fine or other internal penalties rather than a lengthy suspension. Another factor to consider is that the NFL has been more open to the medicinal and recreational use of marijuana, recognizing its role in pain management and recovery for players. This change in attitude has influenced how cases like Turpin's are handled. As a Cowboys fan, it's understandable to feel conflicted. You want your players to be held accountable, but you also want them supported, especially when it comes to issues like pain relief or mental health. What do you think about the NFL's current stance on marijuana and player discipline? Should the league change its policy further? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. In the next chapter, we'll shift gears and talk about what players like Turpin can do to avoid trouble and how teams manage situations like this behind the scenes. Let's take a moment to reflect on the responsibilities that come with being a professional athlete, especially one playing for a high-profile team like the Dallas Cowboys. These players are in the spotlight every day, earning millions, and with that comes a need for extra caution in how they handle their personal lives. One practical suggestion for players like Cowboys Turpin is to use all the resources available to them. That includes hiring a driver or relying on team support when they're out. Late. It might sound simple, but these small steps can prevent situations like a traffic stop turning into a legal headache. In Turpin's case, it's clear that what escalated the issue was more than just possession. It was the fact that the police noticed the firearm and the speeding. A routine stop became complicated because of what was visible or suspected by law enforcement. Importantly, this situation doesn't seem to involve danger to others. It's more about a personal lapse in judgment. That's a key distinction because it changes how we view the severity of the case. It's not about harming someone else, but about decisions that could have been avoided with better care. Now, what about the Cowboys' role? The team and coaching staff, including head coach Dan Quinn, will likely address this situation internally. While we might see some minor consequences like fines or extra conditioning work, it's unlikely that the team will take harsh disciplinary action unless more information comes out. Another thing to watch is how the media covers this story. Often, sensational headlines make the problem seem bigger than it really is. As fans, it's important to stay grounded and not jump on every rumor or exaggerated claim. Ultimately, Turpin's case is a reminder that even elite athletes aren't immune to mistakes. They're human, just like all of us. And while accountability is important, so is understanding and support. What advice would you give to players to avoid these kinds of situations? Do you think teams should do more to help their players stay out of trouble? Let me know in the comments. In the final chapter, we'll wrap up with some closing thoughts, a message of support, and a chance for you to get involved with the conversation. To wrap things up, I want to send a message of support to Cowboys Turpin. Everyone makes mistakes. Sometimes we mess up in ways that get us in trouble. But from everything we've seen so far, this isn't a case of serious wrongdoing. It's a personal mistake, and it shouldn't define who he is as a player or as a person. It's important to remember that athletes, no matter how famous or talented, are human. They deal with pressure, public scrutiny, and personal challenges just like anyone else. We have to allow room for growth and forgiveness, especially when the incident doesn't involve harm to others. As a channel, our goal is to bring you news responsibly and fairly. We don't want to crucify players or blow situations out of proportion. Instead, we want to help you understand the full picture so you can form your own opinion. Thank you so much for watching and being part of this community. Your opinions matter, so don't hesitate to leave your thoughts on the Turpin case down below. Do you think the Cowboys should take a stronger stance, or should they be more supportive? What about the NFL's policies? If you like this video, hit the like button and consider subscribing for more Cowboys news and analysis. We've got plenty more content coming your way. And just to finish on a lighter note, let's all remember, sometimes these stories grow bigger than they need to be, so let's keep it real and keep supporting our guys on and off the field. See you in the next video, Cowboys fans.